Oh. I'm back and better than ever. There we go. I have to wait for that. Okay. Rags quality can wait. My initial take on the title is, well, I don't think it can have equality I don't think equality is achievable because, for one, people are born at different you know, what's it called, financial brackets. That's what. And people try to achieve different things. They get paid for different things. Only way you could achieve equality if you force people into taking the same thing, or if you overpaid certain people, I guess. But that would massively affect the economy in the wrong direction. But here we go. Game it this. Elden Ring or Dark Souls?
Where's the lamb sauce?
No, Mordhau. I've only seen clips from Mordhau, but you should watch it. Play it. Actually, I think I can boost the quality on this. Actually, I think I can boost quality one more. It's fucking raw. Okay, let's go. Where is the lamb sauce? Indeed.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm Maya Rudolph.
And I'm Rags. You know,
I wonder where that last name come from. Maya Rudolph? That... I wonder what it means. Actually, I'm gonna look it up. Rue and then Dolph. Okay. Of the name. Well, I can look up the origin of the last name. Okay. Last name come from examples of surnames. Okay, examples of surnames are documented in the 11th century by the barons in England. England's surname began as a way of identifying a certain aspect of that individual, such as by trade, father's name, location of birth, or physical features, and were not necessarily inherited. Okay, that's interesting. At least I find that interesting. Okay, Rudolph. Okay. Rudolph spelled normally Rudolph, then Rudolph spelled Rudolf. French Rodolfi or Raul, Italian, Portuguese, and Spanish. Rodolfo or Rodolfi is a male first name and less commonly a surname. Okay. It's interesting. It is an ancient Germanic name deriving from two stems, HROPI, harpy. I'm challenging my pronunciation today. Harud, and then HROOR or HROO with the lines above it for all of them, meaning fame, glory, honor, renown, and oath meaning wolf. What? It would be German? No, French. From Soviet, Czech, Polish, Croatian, and German variation of Rudolph is Rudolf, Americanized form of Slavian, Czech, Polish, Croatian, and Hungarian. Okay, well, that was interesting. Let's continue back to the video. Okay.
Maya Rudolph, the first frame of this video is this? Maybe, right? Turn that frown.
Maybe I think you should start a video with a smile, but I don't think this is a laughing matter video. This is a very serious video.
On upside down because we've got a gender to save. And I don't know about all of you, but I know I'm excited to be here. Nothing quite like covering some cringe-tastic feminist videos. Yeah.
Do you love bad news?
Nah, only if it's bad news for women and minorities. Then I love bad news.
Then you're going to love my friend, Melinda Gates.
Ah, Melinda Gates. Famously famous for marrying a rich man. What incredible oppression.
Nothing wrong with that, but she's probably going to make it a problem.
According to the World Economic Forum, it will take us 208 years to achieve gender equality in the United States.
You cannot achieve gender equality. Gender equality will never be a thing. Not in 2 years, not in 208 years. The fact is that people want to achieve certain different things. Human bodies are different. Top down, people are very different. People are a lot alike, they're very different, but in the way that they want to go and achieve their lives, like maternity leave and taking, working with people, taking less. Women tend to want to work with living things, paid less, and construction work usually pays more. Stuff like that. And how would you try and achieve this equality? You're going to force people to take jobs that they don't want? It seems like the best thing to do is to let people do what they want to do. I'm jumping ahead.
What? Yeah, I'm calling bullshit on that. I don't believe that for a New York minute. 208 years until we have gender equality in the United States. So we're just like nowhere close to it right now. Is that what you're saying? Now, if you said, I don't know, Saudi Arabia is 208 years away, yeah, I'd believe that. If you said Pakistan is 208 years away, yeah, sure, I might believe you.
Oh, they could. I didn't even think about that. Equality in that they have, same rights and stuff like that. Yeah, the U.S. I mean, yeah, it seemed pretty good on that. I don't know anything that a man can do legally that a woman can't.
I might believe that.
Hell,
But-
women can be even drafted now. So that's even better.
The United States is 208 years away. I mean, arguably, I'd say we're pretty damn equal right now. It's not perfect, but we're pretty close. We're practically there, I'd say. Could you elaborate exactly on how you reached the conclusion that we won't have gender equality in the United States of America for another 208 years? I would love to know how you reached that conclusion.
I would love to know that too.
What?
I know, right? Person I don't recognize. I would.
It's probably the channel person.
It's the same way. It seems, though, that you're not going to actually tell us, so we'll have to do a little bit of digging. Not too much digging, though. We're just going to have to leave this video for a moment and go over to a different one. To the video aptly titled, Why is Gender Equality 208 Years Away in the United States?
You would think they would be in the same video, but okay. That's horrible. It mines water. Thank you. Let's not equal that out.
All right, stop the tape. I know. Can't go 2 seconds into a video before Rex has to stop it and run his mouth because he just won't shut up. This is the second video in a row that I've covered somebody where the video starts off with him sitting down. Wait, why'd you put that in? Maybe everybody has picked this up from somewhere. I don't know if that's the case. Maybe.
Well, I think it's supposed to try and invoke a more personal thing, even though this is very. She probably didn't even write the script. She may have, but she probably didn't. Is it supposed to be more term endearment? It's like, okay, I just sat down. I'm just talking to you, just me and you, even though we got probably a big team of people behind me. But it's supposed to endear. And so to try and connect you with the viewer. It just, I don't like the blurry effect either.
Me? Why though? Why? Honestly, why? What's the point of that? At one point, the editor decided, or someone decided, that we needed to make sure that at the beginning of the video, we had to make sure that we saw all the people focusing the camera, getting really, really close to it, because we got to focus the camera. They got to see that. And of course, we can't have the audience miss out on us sitting down in the chair. I mean, how will they find out how we got in the chair?
I mean, you just can't sit in a chair. I mean, how do you sit in a chair? Did I just get here?
I'm not just saying that because it's a feminist video. I'm saying it because it's weird and I don't know why people do it. And I bet if I asked the person who put that in why they put it in, they'd just say, I don't know. I guess it's just something that you do.
Right now, it's 2019.
It's going to take 208 years
to close the gender equality gap
Uh,
in the United States.
That's this many generations, or your great-granddaughter's great-granddaughter's daughter.
So my great-great-great-great-granddaughter will still be living underneath the boot of the patriarchy.
That's just a fuck. I'm really trying to think of anything that any of the women I know can't do that a man can do. And other outside of physical stuff, because men are typically able to put more muscle and stronger than women. I really don't know. I mean, legally speaking, there are obviously maybe personal stuff that happens with your boss or stuff like that, but that's shady people and that's not institutionalized, and we should try and get rid of that, but there's not really any laws that say women can't do whatever. So that's just a fucking lie.
Uh-huh.
The U.S. will continue to be robbed
Of women's talent and ingenuity.
Little nitpick, I guess. You're saying that we were robbed of women's talent and ingenuity, implying that we had it, but then something happened and then we...
I didn't even get this. So we had equality, but we lost it. When did we lose equality?
It was stolen from us. It was taken away. This video kind of gives the impression that we never had access to it in the first place. I know I said that it was probably a nitpick, but I think it's a substantive difference between the two. One implies that something happened along the way, and then we had all this stuff that was taken away.
You know what? No, we've just been getting better. Back when my grandma was alive, I would just having a conversation with her that back when she was alive, or a little bit before, women couldn't own property. Now they can. That's great. Even if a woman was inherited something, if her husband died, it would go to a man. That doesn't happen anymore. Really know what? There were women police officers. Some are really small and cute. Like the other day, I saw this. I'm 5'7", but they're this she must have been 4 feet tall, tiny little girl. But she was cute. Should I asked her out. But oh yeah, I'm single again. But would that be appropriate? I wonder. But yeah, tiny little person. They can be police officers. They can do basically whatever. Although I think let's go to rich genders. I've seen some pretty fat police officers. I've seen some pretty fat security guards at the mall I go to. I've seen fucking balls of meat walking around. It's horrible. You're not literally. If I went into a store and it was a guy and a woman, I believe, and I thought to myself, if I ran into a store and grabbed something and ran out, could walk relatively fast away from them and get away. And I think you should be a certain level of strength. And have certain fighting skills. But I'm getting off track.
Away from us that we had before. And then you have the other option, which is that from the beginning, or for a long, long time at least, we never even had it, and we're trying to get something that we never had.
But why 208 years?
And what can all of us do to shorten this timeline?
Studies have shown that gender parity is fundamental to whether and how societies and economies.
And there can't be gender parity because men and women are different in a lot of ways. They trying to achieve different things. They tried this in whatever. I don't remember the country, so I won't bring it up. But
Economies thrive.
Yeah, sure. It's better that people be able to have the freedom to make the decisions that they make, regardless of their gender. And the more people that are available and capable of entering into the work
I agree with this.
force, potentially, the better the economy will be as a result. Sure, I can buy that. But I can only hope that in a society like that, where you have demographics that have general preferences that don't contribute to perfect parity on paper as far as numbers go, that it isn't confused with oppression, or that this lack of perfect parity is necessarily something to be resolved or seen as a problem.
Every year, the World Economic Forum
Measures the gender gap in countries all across the world.
each country
I don't care about any other country. We're only talking about the U.S. You know.
gets a score across 4 categories: economic participation and opportunity,
For this, the report takes the participation gap.
I mean, I guess the most important country, at least to me, is the U.S. And it should.
So that's the difference between men and women in labor force participation. It takes the remuneration gap, and that's the
I thought I could get
hard data indicator of a ratio of the estimated female to male earned income. Sounds familiar. Sounds like something that's been debunked a gajillion
I've never heard of this, so I can't really mention it.
million times, but hey, whatever. And a qualitative indicator gathered through the World Economic Forum's annual Executive Opinion Survey. This is the wage equality for similar work, which is a law that we've had since 1963, at least here in the United States. I think it was JFK who signed it. However, even though we have that in countries like the United States, this is a World Economic Forum, and they measure all the countries, and not all countries might have this law. So that's useful to take into account, I guess.
Yeah.
But the economic participation and opportunity category uses more data. It uses the gap between the advancement of women and men that is captured through 2 hard data statistics: the ratio of women to men among legislators, senior officials, and managers, and the ratio of women to men among technical and professional workers.
I mean, I don't think it really. I don't think it matters how many men or women are going into a particular field. I would want to look into the reasons why they're doing it. I don't care about the numbers of what gender. You know? I care more about the why.
Workers. Now, obviously, this already sounds like it's going to be an issue. Then again, a lot of that has to do with what you consider parity. Now, parity as a concept is equality. We're talking about 50% of legislators, 50% of soldiers, 50% of teachers, 50% of everything is women, and 50% of everything is men.
That sounds like it's already unachievable, because that's just not how the world works.
Whether or not, apparently, men or women have a tendency to want to go into these jobs. Men generally prefer the military and politics. Women generally prefer healthcare services and teaching. And it's these kinds of preferences that color raw data numbers.
Educational attainment.
This one's pretty simple. Educational attainment is a category.
Okay, educational attainment. The subindex. Sorry, I can't read for some reason. This subindex captured the gap between men's current access to education ratios of women to men in primary, secondary, and tertiary level education. A long-term view of the country's ability to educate women and men in equal numbers is captured through the ratio of the female literacy rate to the male literacy rate. I go in a whole thing about school. I have special needs. case you haven't noticed. I went through a transition program. I live in Illinois. Don't want to say where. Well, I went to school in New Lenox, right? And Lincoln Way Central, right? They have a transition program. And basically, I think the education system needs a whole rework, because for one, at least for in high school, before I graduated, when you graduate, you can go in transition program. That's what it's called, just for special ed people. Or you don't have to. But before that, I remember I mostly had normal classes, non-special ed classes. But the ones that did have special ed classes in, they shoved all of us together. All different learning rates, all different mental abilities. It was horrible. And it was even worse in the transition program, because they were teaching me stuff that I already knew. And some stuff I knew that they were teaching, I already knew, and I knew a better way to do it. Well, partially because of that, because I thought having a mental illness was a problem, and I wanted to become smarter to try and counteract that. So part of that might have been my bias, but I think it's still a big problem to shove a whole bunch of people with a bunch of different learning ranges in the same area. It's harder, and you can't really teach them. You can't really hone in on a specific person. You have to do more general studies, and it just wasn't good. Maybe they didn't have money. I'm not entirely sure. But what I would do is create a range. I had to talk with some person. I forget what they exactly did. They were like, "You think a lot about this." I'm like, "Literally fucking no." When I said it, I had thought about it in the top of my fucking head. Just create a range, create a number system, lettering system, wherever the fuck, for certain people with disabilities and certain levels of disabilities. You could do testing on them and to discover what their learning capacity is, and then put them in classes to suit them, to help them succeed in the best way possible. I think that'll be good. But they just either didn't care, or they didn't have the money. I don't know why more people don't talk about this.
Story that captures the gap between women.
At least I don't hear people talk about it. I hear people talk about changing the education system, but that's more for what's it called? Non-retarded people, I guess.
Women's and men's current access.
What's the politically correct term? I forget. I want to sound smart.
Access to education through ratios of women to men in primary, secondary, and tertiary level education. It also takes into consideration literacy rates.
Health and survival.
This one's pretty simple as well. I imagine you could guess how they would find this one out. It's an overview of the differences between...
The sub-index provides an overview of the differences between women and men's health through use of two indicators. The first is sex ratio at birth, which aim to specify to capture the phenomenon missing women prevalent in many countries, the strong son preference. Well, I believe they stopped doing this, but didn't China like have kill babies or something like that? I don't entirely know. Or I know in China, men are preferable over women because men are known to be breadwinners in China and more high valued. And the way the culture works is fucking weird. The way it works is a lot of times it's arranged marriages. Like they would find a man find a man and woman putting together, and then the mother-in-law would come live with the son. It's weird. But a lot about China, it's weird, and I wouldn't want to live there. Okay. Second, we use the gap between women's and men's health life expectancy. Expects it, the fucking word. This measure provides an estimate of the number of years that women and men can expect to live in good health by taking into account the youth lost in violence, disease, malnutrition, and other relevant factors.
Between women's and men's health through the use of two indicators. The first is the sex ratio at birth, which is very, very important for certain parts of the world. And this aims to capture the phenomenon of missing women prevalent in many countries with a strong son preference. Secondly, it uses the gap between women's and men's healthy life expectancy.
And political empowerment.
This category measures the gap between men and women.
The sub-index measured the gap between men and women at the highest level of political decision-making through the ratio of women to men in ministerial positions and the ratio of women to men in parliamentary positions. I don't know why, whatever. In addition, we've included the ratio of women to men in terms of years in executive office, prime minister, or president for the last 50 years. A clear drawback in this category, the absence of any indicators capturing difference between the participation of women and men at local levels of government. Should such become available at globally corroborative level in future years, it will be considered for inclusion in the index. I doubt countries are being truthful with any political. I know, in fact, countries lie about the political shit. So I wonder how trustworthy the data is, and I wonder how you gather the data. No, I wonder how. I just wonder how you trust some of this data.
Men at the highest level of political decision making through the ratio of women to
I suppose you trust what you can.
Men in ministerial positions and the ratio of women to men in parliamentary positions.
Oh,
It also takes into consideration the ratio of women to men in terms of years in executive office for the last 50.
oh, hey, thank you. I'm going to show you. Do you have a channel that I can subscribe to? No, you don't. But thank you for subscribe. Thank you for checking me out. Okay, let's continue.
Years. The data does not include information on more local levels of government.
That's
All right,
unfortunate.
boring part's over. I just wanted to lay the groundwork here for what kind of data they're using to get all their numbers.
In 2018, the United States ranked 51 out of 149 countries.
Okay. Let's see. For one, I don't believe any of this. I don't believe we're worse than Mexico, because without going into any of that, we don't have a cartel running the government. This information is older, but Israel, I don't believe that, because been going on and off wars for thousands of years. Uganda, I don't believe. I don't know much about these countries. Wait, 51. So, oh yeah, these would be better than us. Okay. Yeah. Mexico isn't better than us. Zimbabwe, I don't believe. No.
On this scale.
Lists. Everybody loves lists. The weird thing about this one, though, is it probably won't take you but a second to notice. Go ahead and take a look at
Mozambique, yeah.
And it is above the
Mozambique,
United
yeah.
States, as is Bangladesh, Zimbabwe, and Uganda. The entirety of the list is included in the survey. And again, it becomes instantly obvious why maybe using an index that measures and ranks countries on parity might come up.
I don't know how you think you could ever it boggled the mind, because parity, the fact that the genders get the same jobs and equals out doesn't really matter. I think it would matter more why they're getting the jobs, because that looks more at the intent, and you can find corruption better that way. Oh, why is this happening? Oh, it's family. It's he's being pressured into this or that or this, that, the other thing. It straight 50-50 never mattered, and I don't know. I'd like to talk to one of these people on why they think gender parity matters, equality, because why? Also, that if we're talking about race in this, equality of race, 50-50, you're just gonna, listen, you're just a fucking number, you're black, get in here. No other reason. Get in here because you're black. I feel like that would be incredibly insensitive. It would be insensitive across the board and sexist across the board, because it'd be like, well, listen, you're a man, you're a woman, we need you for percentage. I don't give a shit about you. And that's awful.
Across as a little dishonest if you're using this to try and push the idea that America has a lot of work to do, because we're number 51. Yeah, and Rwanda's number 6. Rwanda, best known for infant mortality and actual genocide.
Okay.
So let me ask the fine lady.
I saw Netherlands, and I've been playing Borderlands recently, and I looked at it real quick. I was like, Borderlands?
Ladies in the audience, if you had to move out of the United States, would you rather move to Zimbabwe or Austria? Well, guess which one's higher on the parity chart? That number on the far right side.
Mexico is higher.
Side of the screen there, that's the general score.
My friend, I would never want to live in Mexico. It's even in the nice places.
The closest that is to 1.0, the more parity that you have. But of course, that doesn't necessarily mean that your society's better, though. And it certainly doesn't account for all of the variables that go into it. For instance, the more freedom that women have, then the more likely it is that the general preferences of women will lead them into different fields than the general preferences of men.
And that seems like such an easy conclusion to come to. I don't know why they get away with this.
Men will lead them into certain fields. This creates a gap in parity. See where we're going here? But hey, a chart like this allows you to say stuff like, I don't know.
According to the World Economic Forum, it will take us 208 years to achieve gender equality.
How do you get away with that when it's such an easy leap? It's like the smallest of step to say the more freedom people have, the more different jobs they want to take. It's such an easy thing to say. How do you believe this? I again would like to talk to these people
in the United States.
And when you make a claim like that, it's insane and people won't believe you because that's crazy talk, especially when you base it off of, if anything, dubious methods of information. You're trying to use this to push the idea that we have such a long, long way to go, and it'll take hundreds of years for us to get to where we need to be. And that's one of the big problems I have with this equality can't wait thing that they've got going on, is that their little tagline catchphrase 208 year thing, it's bogus, at least in principle. It's like you're trying to fool people into thinking that this idea of gender equality is the one that we typically associate with a just and fair society. So, all you ladies who think that gender parity is a fantastic idea, then unfortunately, I might have some bad news. Some of you are going to have to make the sacrifice, and you're going to have to become garbage workers and sewer cleaners, oil rig mechanics, and roofers. And yeah, that.
And this is the next logical conclusion. I don't know why. Again, how do you get away with that?
Might not sound fair. It might sound like it's the opposite of fairness, in fact. But you wanted your equal society, so it's time to step up to the plate. Time to do your part and put your money where your.
Really? Okay. I will take the ultimate sacrifice to become an actor, and let a woman take the ultimate sacrifice and be a garbage worker. I know we have to do all our part, though. I'm doing my part. Are you doing your part?
Where your mouth is. Anyway, back to the survey.
But there's good news. The U.S. has achieved gender parity across all levels of the education system.
And women earn over 2/3 of all master's degrees.
And earn over half of all doctoral degrees.
That's not parity. That's worse than parity. If you learned over half, that's you achieved imbalance. You need to reverse that, right? If they learn over half. They agree.
So, if you're watching this right now, then I want you to pay close attention. There is a reason that I'm highlighting this, please. I am not a feminist, and I doubt I ever will be. And these here, that you just heard, this is exactly why. This right here, this is why myself and so many other people across the world refuse to take the labor.
I don't know how you can say, oh, we want parity. Women earn half or earn over half of anything. Wouldn't that be bad? Oh, we gone too far.
This is it. This is the one. Feminists say all the time that they're not a female supremacy movement, that feminism is about gender equality. They say that feminism is good for men. And then I hear feminists talking about how good it is, that it's good news. Don't worry. It's good that women are getting.
Good, guys. Just let women do things. Let me do things as a woman. I want to be a boss and make all the money and I have to do shit. Trust me, this is good for women, but me. This is good for women and me. I want this for women. And me. And me. But mostly me, I mean the women. Trust me. I think, well, a lot of feminists sound like, guys from the 50s that, saying, oh, women can't do this. Oh, women, men, they're better. We need to have all the jobs. Almost gone in reverse.
Getting over 2/3 of all master's degrees and over half of all doctorate degrees. So sorry if I'm being a bit of a stickler here, but I'm pretty certain that the whole point of your TISME movement is gender parity, right? I thought the whole equality can't wait crap is based around gender parity. That's what you use to prop up your 208 years crap. But here, moments later, You trout out the staggering non-parity of these statistics as literally a good thing because it's leaning towards women. It's good you say that women are doing better than men here. So yeah, forgive me if I'm going to keep on believing that feminism is without a doubt a load of bollocks. If you really wanted parity, you would be making efforts to empower men's rights activists. But we know just how feminists so often feel about those disgusting people who
I
dare.
don't understand either. I hear a lot of put down of men rights activists, like in such casual way, and it's like, and it seems like such an obvious thing that men need rights too, but it's such. Men in general put down a lot more than they should. How did we get here?
Dare to advocate for the rights of the other half of the population, right? Even on your website, you clearly state the U.S. has achieved gender parity.
Okay, the U.S. has achieved gender parity across all levels of education, so what?
Across all levels of the education system. Women now earn more than 2/3 of the master's degrees and the majority of
We have achieved equality. Women earn more.
doctoral degrees.
That's
not
what it says.
Parity. You paint the goal of parity as being only parity if women are dominating over men. And that's why people think it's a female supremacy movement. Obviously, I am in full support of gender equality in the colloquial sense. Women should be allowed to earn the same jobs as
people should be able to achieve should be able to do whatever they want within their capabilities,
men, to be in government and make their own life choices and do all the things men can do. And I understand there might be a particular extreme contextual exception to this, like somebody playing a role, for instance, for a movie or whatnot. But I'm not a feminist, and most people aren't either. And this video is but I'm not a feminist. It's like somebody playing a role, for instance, for a.
That's a good looking Supergirl costume. But that's a really derpy looking Superman costume. It's kind of awful. What happened here? Like, this is actually kind of good. This looks good, but this look at those boots too. These boots are actually kind of good. I like them. They look decent. For a Spirit Halloween. This is literally just like those foam, the hospital socks. That's probably what that is. You got the foam. You probably just got rubble thing. No, these are probably shoe covers, right? You don't even get boots with it. You get heels with your Wonder Woman costume, your Supergirl costume, not with your Superman costume.
Movie or whatnot. But I'm not a feminist, and most people aren't either. And this video is exactly why. I mean, the person who drew this art that you've been looking at this whole time, it's been a woman who's drawn this. Because I don't care.
I want to commission some art. Speaking of that, I love my outfit. I would like a little dude in the background, or as my banner. I would love just a little. What do you think? Yeah? Or I'd have to pick out a special outfit, but that'd be really cool. When I get enough money, I'll do that.
It doesn't even matter to me. I don't even think about it. It wouldn't even enter into my.
Speaking of that, would I guess art commissioner be in maybe I can look them up online. I would like to commission some art if anyone would want to draw some art for me.
Realm of imagination. That's someone's gender.
I'll be right with you. Oh, never mind.
Wouldn't matter at all for this. So let's get back on track to our Equality Can't Wait video after that detour.
According to the World Economic Forum, it will take us 208 years to achieve gender equality in the United States.
What?
That's the most specific bad news I've
You know what? I like this guy. This guy's actually pretty funny. And it makes me sad that he believes this. Does he actually believe this? He'd probably still doing cocaine at this point. Because he relatively recently came out, he stopped doing cocaine. He cleaned himself up, right? He may have still been doing cocaine at this point.
I've ever heard.
208 years? Over my dead vagina.
Is there some sort of a union or some sort of a contractual obligation that demands that if you're a female comedian, you have to always talk about your vagina? I mean, I assume you're a comedian. I don't know who you are. And I guess you're trying to be funny, but failing.
That just isn't funny. And a lot of women mention their vagina. A lot of men don't mention their penises, even though, like, in the culture of zeitgeist, male nudity is more funny than female nudity. So I don't know what's happening there. Men, I am very much on the train, women, I can go shirtless like men. I'm on that train, I'm fight the power of bras and stuff like that. Bras are strict. Me seeing your boobs. No, I'm just, what I mean.
Miserably at it, which will be a common trend with this video as we proceed.
That's 1,456 dog years. I'm telling you, bitches never get a break.
All right, that was a little better. I wasn't funny, but I can see what you were going for. Definitely an improvement.
I guess that would be my great-great-great-great-great-grandchild.
Wait. Where are you getting this? Because, okay, if I had a kid right now, right, 208 years, do this in a calendar. I had a kid right now, that might work out. It seems like it would work out. But it just seems like a lot of people. And it's only about 2 generations.
And I hope it's a girl.
And should that faraway grandchild be born a male, then he'll have to accept that he's disappointed his ancestors immensely because he was born the wrong gender. So much for feminism is about equality. If only you had been born the better gender. After all,
how do you release this video and say that? I mean, what was she thinking when she said that? I'm for equality. Let's say I'm this lady, right? I'm for equality. I'm for 50-50, by and 208 years, everything will be great. But I hope my ancestor is a woman. Hey, how is that fair?
if this is the time when we finally reach total gender parity, then why should it matter if it's a boy or a girl?
Yeah.
It's Carol Burnett. She's best.
I don't care.
Oh, Carol Burnett. My grandma watches. If you don't know who Carol Burnett is, grandma used to watch the Carol Burnett show, and she still does. She was really famous back in the day. She wasn't anymore, but she she really didn't have any struggle, at least from what I know of. You can look up Carol Burnett, you and me. Carol. How do you spell care? Carol. Oh, okay. American actress. She apparently lost her daughter. She is an American comedian, actress, and singer. Her comedy very series, The Carol Burnett Show, which originally aired on CBS, one of the first to be hosted by a woman. Okay, you go. Burnett had performed on Broadway, television, and dramatic and comedic film. Okay, leading the way. She's 91. Okay, she's looking good for 91. I'm sure she struggled. That's not what I was implying, but she was. I sound like she was kind of a pioneer. I stand corrected. She likes them older, apparently. She was married in 2001 to someone 23 years older than her. So, Brian Miller. Anyway, we're getting off track, but she likes some older men, apparently.
Care about the emotions of celebrities, and neither should you.
Sure, yeah, that's bad for humans, but
I know this guy. I forget where he's from.
Pandas only live about 20 years.
That's hilarious.
Why is it that I can order a bag of dick-shaped gummy bears with same-day delivery, but I have to wait 208 years for gender equality?
Because those are two completely different things. And also, if they're shaped like dicks, then they're not gummy bears, are they? Anyway, are you actually under contract to where you have to reference genitalia every time you speak?
That means
a lot of comedians do that. It's kind of weird.
26 generations of panda bears will live and die before we finally see a female panda president.
I know it's a joke, but I don't understand the joke, and it just makes them look stupid.
Okay.
Women are currently less than 25% of
I know this guy too. That makes me sad.
Congress, and that's the highest it's ever been, which, are currently less than 25% of Congress, and that's the highest it's ever been.
It doesn't matter. Why? I would like to know the quality of their character, not the quality of their genitalia between their legs.
Been, which, is fine because women are about 25% of the population. What's that? It's 50%? That's fucked up.
No, not really. It turns out that women and people of color were elected at the same rate as white men in 2018. And this is the old HuffPost admitting that. The study finds that specifically, women of color were 4% of candidates and 5% of winners. White women were 28% of candidates and 29% of winners. Men of color were 6% of candidates and 7% of winners. And white men were 61% of candidates.
I think my internet is going bad.
It's in 60% of winners. There is a common assumption that white men are the more electable candidates, but our research found the opposite. Brendan Caracey Carter, director of the Reflective Democracy Campaign, said on a press call, "We found women of color,
You know what?
White women.
We're gonna look up more about Carol Burnett. Some I think and love. Carol Burnett. Jesus Christ. Born in 1933. You know Dick Van Dyke is still alive? Did you know that? Dick Van Dyke is still alive.
And men of color win at essentially the same rate. There's only one group that loses slightly more, and that's white men. People just don't really care. What people do care about in a candidate is whether or not that candidate is qualified, or if their values align with the voters' values, or if their politics match the voters' politics, and stuff like that. They don't really care if it's a woman or a man or a black guy or a white guy. People just aren't as transfixed on race and gender as so many people out there think. Maybe the issue here is the fact that...
You know what? I'm gonna stop here. I'm gonna continue this video. Actually, I want to make it to 20 minutes.
Women generally just don't want to be
If this video decide to restart or anything, I know when I start.
Politicians as much. And if they don't, that's fine. Why do you think that just because there's a woman running for office that she represents women? She doesn't. She represents the voters. She represents whoever votes for them. She doesn't represent anyone else. Barack Obama's a male. He doesn't represent me. I mean, he does in a political sense, but you know what I mean. My mother certainly wasn't a fan of Hillary Clinton. In fact, my mom...
Anyway, I gotta go. My internet is looks like it's crapping out, and I don't want to mess up the quality of this video. But thank you. You have a YouTube channel? I'm gonna show you a thing. Anyway, these people have YouTube channels. Subscribe to them. But hello, Minar and have a great day. I seem like my internet is slowly dying, so I'm gonna log off, and I'm gonna be back tomorrow. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming on my live. Man, I don't usually get people live, so I appreciate it. Started about 12 yesterday. It will be about the same time tomorrow. So 12.